right. Coulter, for this, I'm just going to do a fun how to draw that we did last week. If you can kind of see these back here, we made an Arctic fox when we were working on letter F last week. So if you have a piece of paper, you can use a blue marker and a pink marker. But if you don't want to use pink, you can use orange or red or some other color if you want. We just use a little bit of pink. But we're going to make an Arctic fox, but we're going to start with the letter F. So if you want to make sure you have a piece of paper, you can pause the video and grab your supplies real quick and then come back. I'll see if I can remember how to do it. We've been doing those Art for Kids Hub. And they have one for every letter of the alphabet. So if you want to look up on YouTube, Art for Kids Hub, maybe you already do those and maybe remember them from before. So this was the letter F, and I thought it was perfect because it's kind of snowy out and kind of cold, and we turned it into an Arctic fox. So you're going to start just making a capital F, so they did a big line down, and then we did two little lines going across like this. And then what they did was they started up here and they closed it down like that, kind of made a little box like that, and then they closed the bottom of it like that. And then they started in the corner and we went down like this and then back up, and we kind of made a V. I made a V. And then there was also like a smaller V inside of the bigger V. And then they kind of did squiggly lines kind of in there. And we did 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like a U shape, and then we put little lines in them for his little paws. And if you need to pause a video, you can do that as well. And then for the eyes, we did circle like this and circle like this. And then they actually colored those black if you want to grab a black, or we can color it at the end. Then we did a little U shape for the nose. And then we went down and around and made a J. And we went down here and made a backwards J. And then we kind of made like an M over his eyes like that. And then on top of the nose, we also closed it. And we can go back and color those in black if you'd like. And for the eyes, they also made a little circle like this. And then they colored this part in. Then we just need the ears. I'm going to just go down like this for a second, set it on my leg. Okay. And then for the ears, we kind of did kind of like a curve like that, and then a curve back down in for one ear. And then they started around here, did a curve out like that, and then a curve back in like that. And then inside the ears, they kind of just did a little upside down U, kind of like that, inside the ears. And then the last thing we did was we just we curved around, made a little point, and kind of went back in for his tail. And then they did some squiggly lines like that for his tail. And then they used the pink to go inside for the inside of the ears. But like I said, you can use whichever color you'd like. You can make him whatever color you like. But there wasn't a lot of coloring because in the winter an Arctic fox is white. So he can sneak up on his prey. If there's snow around, he blends in with the snow. I also put little circles there for the cheeks. And then on our paper, we wrote 4 words. And I've just been having the kids draw lines for their words. We wrote, my fox likes snow. Arctic fox likes the snow. So we wrote the word my on the first line. My is one of our heart words or sight words we've been working on. And we did a capital M, Y, my. And then we did fox, ox, ox. And we wrote the letters for fox. Actually, I'm going to use my blue again just so you can see it a little better. So I'm going to trace over my ox, my fox. And then we wrote the word like. That's another heart word, like. And we added an S to it. My fox likes. My fox likes snow. We stretched out S. N. N. It's spelled with an N. O. O. W. And it has a W at the end. Then we put a little dot at the end for a period. So if you want to write those 4 words, my fox likes snow. And then they also showed the kids you can do like a plus sign and then put an X over it like that, and it makes a snowflake. So they did a plus sign and an X, and it made some snowflakes around the fox. If you want to do a few of those. Plus sign and some X. If you want to add a few of those around your fox. My fox likes snow. All right. If you want to look again on that Art for Kids Hub, they have every letter of the alphabet. They change into an animal or something like that. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and you can pause and go back and redo whatever you need or make them any color you would like. So I will talk to you later. Bye.